12 passages to be covered in this class. So we will cover all of them. And today's topic is shopping, online and offline shopping. Let me take this. You can see my screen, right, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. So make this a little bit smaller. Good. So I would like you to talk about these, express your opinions about each of these, first of all, before we move on to the text. What items do you buy, for example, online?
I usually buy clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I usually buy clothes and like accessories or decoration for my room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay. I've never bought clothes online so far, as far as I remember. But I usually buy books, computer items, electronics, you know, things like that usually. But I've never bought anything like clothing because it proves difficult even in shops. So
for the first couple of times, yes, but after some point you get used to things that they sell on internet, and you actually start to being able to separate the things which is bad or good.
Yeah, I see. I understand. So it takes time, I suppose.
Yes, it actually is not only for clothes or things like that. It's about anything that you buy online.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you should know where to shop, I suppose.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's about the information and the stuff you know about the things you're gonna buy.
Mm-hmm.
Bilinçli tüketici olmak.
Yes.
Yani asıl mesele bu aslında.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Most people buy things online without reading the information or
mm-hmm.
asking important questions to the seller, so
mm-hmm.
they would know more about the item that they're buying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's right. How about returns?
I don't actually understand what does exactly mean.
Sarah, give me a second. I'm sorry. I'm at home today and there's a trouble here. Sorry. Ders değil ama, ders değil, ders değil. Ders değil. Sen sessizce oturur musun şurada? Tamam. Ama ben derste olacağım, tamam mı? Sen şuraya otur. Heh, burada otur, biz konuşacağız. Hadi bakalım. Sorry, Sarah. There is a fight in the other room between my kids. So returns, I was talking about returns. Do you often return items that you buy, especially clothing items?
Well, I've actually done it a couple of times. I really don't like to get involved in the situations because people usually put me in trouble about these stuff, especially when I'm shopping online. But it's more important to being able to return things online, because when you're offline shopping, you are physically able to see, touch, or whatever the way you want to sense the thing you're buying. And it's harder to return things that you've decided to buy face to face. But online, you don't actually know what you're facing with. Even though you bought the thing that you chose, there is a small chance of you being tricked. Mm-hmm. So you should be able to return, or at least the site that is giving you the opportunity to buy that item should protect your rights, at least as a consumer.
So I suppose you are a conscious consumer. So you know where to buy things, you know what to buy, and you perhaps know how much to pay. That's why you have returned only a couple of the items so far as I understand. Is that right?
Yes, I suppose we can say that, but there were, of course, little surprises that I come along with when I took the package in my hands. I was like, what is this? What's going on? This isn't what I bought. This isn't what I wanted. And at some point, there was a time where I ordered a sticker pack from China, from AliExpress. It's been 2 years and they still didn't bring me the package. It wasn't so expensive. I tried to communicate with the seller too, and they said it's probably because of the pandemic. You know, the shipping stopped at some point. People wouldn't be able to
deliver the packages sometimes.
Yes, deliver the packages. That happened to me, but thank God the thing I bought wasn't that expensive. So it wasn't a big trouble, but I still don't trust too much to international shippings.
Yes.
I just bought 1 or 2 things internationally. One of them was very expensive, so they bought me in like 10 days and it was coming from China. The thing I understand from this situation is people are actually caring about things you buy when it's expensive, because they know something bad is going to happen if they don't deliver the package how to say this, if they don't deliver the package,
so they will pay back, right?
In a decent way. Yes, it will cause a big problem. And if it's something not expensive, like a decent amount of money, a normal amount of money, they don't care about it much. It doesn't matter what it's coming from.
People probably won't sue them, or they won't just ask why they didn't send the package.
Yes, and they think consumers won't be very exaggerating the situation, but as a conscious consumer, at least that's what I thought about myself. Whether the money is big or small, the thing I deliver should come in my hands in a decent amount of time, because I have consumer rights and sellers have responsibilities.
That's right.
And
so the amount of money doesn't matter. They have to deliver the packages that they promise, right?
Yes, exactly. It's not about the money. It's about the responsibility and the being honest to consumer.
Sarah, we have a couple of more things and we have to be a little bit quicker, I suppose.
Okay.
Let's talk about money, just briefly. Do you think buying things online is cheaper or more economical, let's say, rather than cheaper?
I don't think buying things online is cheaper than offline shopping at all, because there is a...
Or clothes, you say you buy clothing items. What can you tell me about clothing items in terms of how much they cost?
They are usually there because some discount times in offline or online shopping, but usually most time of the year, it's more expensive, and it's both more expensive and the quality is worse than the offline shopping. So they gain more money with less
lower quality goods, items, right?
Yes. So
why do you buy clothing items online then?
There are just a couple of shops that I trust, and other than that, I don't buy anything at all, because some shops doesn't have physical markets. They just, sell things online, and they do actually good stuff. I only buy from them. Otherwise, I don't actually shop online from random shops. Or at least if I'm buying a clothes from an online shop, I at least read the ingredients of the fabric, etc.
So it depends on where you shop, I suppose.
Yes.
In a shop which you can trust, you buy things, although it might prove more expensive. Sarah, did you know that this online shopping has some impact, okay, on the environment? Have you ever thought of this?
What sort of impact?
Impact, like carbon emissions.
Is it worse or better?
Worse, of course, because there is lots of transportation going on there.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Okay, this passage is about basically this. Could you please just quickly read the text?
Sure.
How much time do you need for this?
How many pages?
So, well, it's about 3 pages or 2 pages, except for images. Now, I have these, well, let me not show that. I'm gonna show you the text first of all. Could you please highlight these green words in your own text as well? Lockdown, you know that, right? Probably you know the word. Stir up, that's another word. Stir up, stir up.
Yes.
Apparel is another one. Have you found them, Sarah?
I actually did. Yes. Yes.
Stirred up, apparel at the end of the first page again. And we have boost as a verb and noun.
Wait.
Boost. Can you find it? It's on the second page, line 3, word 4.
Just a second, please.
No problem.
I'm actually trying to. I accidentally closed the page, and now I'm trying to find the passage again.
Boost is another word. Still another one is sustainable. Sustainable.
Oh, okay. I find it. Okay.
So boost, you have found this, right? And highlighted it.
Yes.
And sustainable. Sustainable is another word. Also convenience. On the third page, convenience. And freight, we have freight. Air freight, it says. And we have peak here, just on paragraph 3, line 1. And we have purchasing, purchase, right?
Yes.
Let's take a look at each of them again. Peak, purchasing. So the first one or the last one maybe is purchasing. Peak, freight, convenience, sustainable, okay. Also we have boost, we have apparel, stir up, past tense is stirred up, and lockdown. Could you please take a look at the text, quickly read it, and try to guess the meanings of these words if you don't know them, okay? I chose these words for an average reader, but I know that you have a lot of vocabulary in your mind. But anyway, if there are any unknown words, are there any unknown words? among these, like stirrup, apparel? Probably apparel is unknown.
I actually know these words.
Boost?
Yes.
Okay. Sustainable? Probably.
I've heard about it, but I don't remember.
Okay. Convenience?
Yes.
Yes. Freight? Probably no.
Yeah.
Peak? You know, probably you know it. And purchasing, you know it.
Yes.
Okay. So just guess the words that you don't know without checking the dictionary, okay? And then we will take a look at the paragraphs and try to infer some meanings. We will work on inference a couple of weeks, actually, not only this week, but next week and the week after that, because inferencing is an important skill in reading, right? So read the text, please. You are using your own text, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have to move the page.
I'm finished.
You're finished. That's good. So I'd like to ask you a question about shopping online, but this time I'd like to learn if you buy things that are not necessary for you. Unnecessary shopping.
Well, let's think about it.
Especially during the
lockdown.
Yeah, that we experienced.
In lockdown, I actually never shopped. I only shopped once, and that time I bought a very necessary thing. Other than that, I don't remember buying anything unnecessary because I'm not that rich, and I don't really like to spend my money on things that are not necessary or non-essential.
Mm-hmm. But the passage says people try to boost their moods. Boost. Have you found a definition or a synonym for this word? Boost.
Boost is something like rising it up.
Yeah, okay. To improve, right? To improve your mood. So people are trying to improve their moods through shopping, online shopping. To me, for example, when I buy something, even something small, something small, I feel happy somehow. So this means shopping boosts my mood, basically. Is this the case with you? Do you feel happy when you buy something?
Actually, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But we are consuming things, consuming goods or other items shouldn't make us happy, right? I suppose, as the passage says, we should be happy through producing something. What do you think about this?
That's right. Most of the people who buy non-essential things doesn't even use them, and this mostly leads people to modern hoarding. And at some point, people are like modern çöpçü balığı.
What did you say? I can't get it.
Modern çöpçü balığı. They hoard stuff, non-essential stuff. They buy it.
Sorry, you mean hoarding?
Yes.
Hoarders.
Yes. I said hoarders, but I think my internet is weak.
Sorry, Sarah. So did you say hoarding, hoarders?
Yes, modern hoarders.
Yes.
People buy non-essential things constantly and they hoard stuff.
Yes, that's right. And they could never get rid of them because they bought them, right? They paid money.
Yes,
and it proves difficult to dispose them of.
Yes, and as you said, they just consume. They don't produce anything with them. They don't do anything with them. Most of them doesn't even use, even once, the things they buy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. How about the impact of online shopping, the environmental impact. What have you learned about that?
I actually
Throughout the passage, it is discussed, as you might have seen.
Yes, I have actually a couple of questions about this. The passage says it has environmental impacts, a couple of them, but when we think about it deeply, so the passage says that some fight over the fact that online shopping decreases the carbon usage of people. Mm-hmm. Some fights about the fact that it increases, mm-hmm. but I think it neutralizes. Because when you think about it, people started to increase the amount of online shopping when the pandemic started. And at the same time, when pandemic has begun, people weren't able to use their cars, and refunds and returns were increasing at the same time while people's online shoppings were increasing. So the passage says that the carbon usage is increasing because refunds and returns are increasing. But at the same time, when pandemic started, people stopped using vehicles. So it decreases the carbon usage too. So it kind of neutralizes the situation, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But without the pandemic, people use their own vehicles, personal cars, etc., to go to the shopping. And as the passage said, which is right, the returns were lesser than when people were doing online shopping. And at the same time, there was no pandemic, so people were still going out using vehicles, which means increase of using carbon. So both situations kind of neutralizes each other, in my opinion.
So it's a multi-dimensional issue, I suppose.
Yes, I mean, if we just think about shopping, yes, that's right. The carbon usage increases. But when pandemic gets into the issue, it's not much of a very difference. Çünkü ters orantılı.
I see. People don't go shopping. They don't use their cars to markets, retailers.
Not just markets. In pandemic, people weren't able to go anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah. But let's disregard pandemics, okay, and talk about it in general. Do you think,
yes,
globally considered, do you think online shopping increases carbon emissions, levels of carbon emissions, or it helps decrease it? Which one is the case in your opinion? So you say people don't take their cars to shopping centers because they buy it online, they buy things online.
Sorry, just a second, I will close my door.
No problem.
Can you please repeat your question?
So globally considered, just disregard pandemics. We are talking about this issue from a general perspective, not limited to the time of lockdown, okay?
Okay.
Do you think online shopping has a negative impact on the environment, particularly in terms of carbon emissions, okay? Or just vice versa? Or maybe, as you said, it neutralizes, there is a neutral impact, you say. That might be another possibility.
Well, as you said, this situation is multidimensional. So this is quite a deep situation, which we need to think from different perspectives. But to think simple, people started to consume more in order to control their environments, as the passage says. So more stuff. So there is a thing in economy, arz talep.
Supply and demand, right?
Yes, as I'm sorry, I forgot the word.
No problem. It sometimes happens.
As demand increases, supply needs to be increased. And when people are, we are living in a capitalist world, and when something is being produced, it also releases carbon to environment too. We just shouldn't think about the vehicles or the amount of carbon it releases to the air, etc. People demand things more as they put it in a lockdown. They started to consume more. People started to give an answer to those demands, and they started to produce things more. And there were, as the passage says, returns increased.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, these returns, a certain number of the returns end up in landfills, which is too bad, I suppose.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because retailers cannot sell them.
Yes, most of them goes to trash because once they're used, they can't be put in back anymore. And yes, if we think this simply, we can say that it increased the destruction of environment in general.
So one dimension is carbon emissions due to, cars, use transportation, okay? Another dimension is landfill issue, right?
Yes.
This is also environmentally negative, right? Because those things produced just go down the drain. They are no longer used. They are not usable. This is one issue. All the effort, materials, okay, they are not actually, they don't fulfill their function.
Yes, exactly.
And also landfill, when they are just buried under the ground, they pollute the environment, right?
Yes.
Plastic, for example.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the packages they're using when they're delivering the shippings. They usually wrap it around silicones or plastics, especially. I rarely saw any sellers or producers using paper or anything reusable, anything healthy for the environment, because they usually go for the easier one to less costing one, like plastic.
But even recyclable options are also problematic, like paper, because a lot of paper means loss of forests.
Yes, that's right.
And also, most of the paper is not, unfortunately, recyclable.
Yes, a big amount of
unlike campaigns or unlike public perception, that's not recyclable.
Yes, exactly. But at least it's better than plastic, because plastic never dissolves in nature.
Yes.
Paper is much more dissolvable in nature, even the big amount of it. Imagine plastic being a big amount. Even though you buried it under the ground, it will never dissolve, at least not in the next 5,000 years. And only God knows what's going to happen in the next 5,000 years. So,
no, it's not that long, I suppose. I mean, in a shorter time, like 50 years. In 50 years' time, the environment.
50 years?
Yes, the environment.
I've read many times that it costs thousands of years to dissolve a plastic.
No, just don't misunderstand me. It takes 500 years or a millennium for plastic to get resolved in the nature. I'm not talking about that. If everything goes like this, in 50 years' time, the world will be at a different point in terms of plastic pollution. We talked about this in earlier classes, I suppose.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a great problem as far as environment is concerned. Yes.
That's right.
So here it says convenience. Remember the word convenience? It's comfort, ease of use or something, right? Here, convenience, ease or comfort.
Yes.
So do you think it is more convenient to return items in online shopping or go to the shop and exchange them with newer ones or different ones? Which one is easier for you?
I mean, personally, it's easier for me to do it physically.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like most of the time, online sellers put rules for returns. Like if you do this, you can't return your product if you do this. But when you go to a store to return your item, you can reason with that person. Mm-hmm. So you may be able to return your item even though they put rules, but you can't do it online. It's much more official and harder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it depends on the store, online store. Sometimes some of them just have very lenient policies regarding return of products anyway.
Yes, but it's hard to find those kind of stores because I've never seen actually. I mean, those stores you're talking about are usually the stores that is known well. Most people don't really care about the consumers' policies and the return policies because they just don't want to uğraşmak istemiyorlar.
I see. Larger corporations, companies, multinational companies like Amazon, for example. It's very easy to return items bought from Amazon. It was so in the United States in the past, and today it is still the same.
Yes, that's right.
Could you please take a look at the word freight over there? Air freight produces around 3 times more emissions than maritime or road shipping. So shipping is the key word here that you might help, that might help you to guess the meaning of this word. Can you guess it?
Yes, I think it's like shipping or transport.
Okay, that's right. Air cargo, actually. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, loads of goods or consumer products, right? That's called freight. Things to be carried, actually. Things to be carried through air, through maritime or shipping. So why do you think air freight produces more carbon emission?
I don't know much about air vehicles, but it's probably because of the I mean, I don't know actually. I don't have any idea.
Some stores just promise to deliver a package or what is bought the next day. Okay, so this means they are transporting the goods, consumer goods, through air. Okay, through airships. Okay, or aircraft, whatever. This means they are using more fuel, which means more carbon emissions.
Yes, and I think the bigger the vehicle is, the more toxic it gets.
Yeah, probably. That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Okay. And now I have one last question. I'm going to finish the class in a couple of minutes. My question this time is related with how can we, well, the question is this: how can we be happy without buying many things, especially unnecessary ones?
It depends on the country, actually. But if you're talking about Turkey, just as you said, we need to produce more instead of consuming. And especially when people were in lockdown, people were always in the need of controlling their outer environment. So in order to do that, they always try to bir şeylere başvuruyorlar, yani farklı tarzda düşüncelere ya da aktivitelere başvuruyorlar. Bazıları sağlıklı oluyor. Just like playing an instrument, which I tried to do when I was in lockdown. Or starting at a hobby or doing sports. These are healthy things.
So maybe they could direct their attention from shopping to other social activities.
Yes.
Personal activities.
And most of these things are actually producing, especially if you are dragging your attention into your hobbies, because if you're talking about art, for example, or music, or even support, you are adding something to yourself or the people that you are living with. So I think even the smallest thing that you do is producing. But consuming things is much easier in modern life. So
I see, Sarah.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to direct your attention, as I said, to different things, hobbies, social activities, and most importantly, to produce something. It is wise to produce something rather than consume things all the time.
Yes, it's much important, but it's harder actually. So people usually go for the consuming part because it's much easier.
It takes skill, time, effort to produce something.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for participating in this session. It was a very enjoyable discussion for me. See you next week.
For me.
Okay, thank you. Have a good week.
Kolay gelsin hocam.
Teşekkürler.